Hello buddy, and welcome to the video that will blow your mind about computer hardware. We are going to talk about hardware such as hard drives, motherboards, RAM, ROM and graphics cards, so sit back and relax.
Everything changes.
So then, motherboards. This is a motherboard. The motherboard is basically the heart of the computer. It holds things such as CPU and fans and heat sinks, and it also holds the hard drives which are connected to it. It's held in this thing. This is a computer case. It holds all the computer components inside the case, so you need to make sure you've got the right fit. Now back to motherboards. Motherboards run all different kinds of components. It sends data to be decoded and received via the CPU even, and it then gets sent to the different components that need to execute the order or file that has been sent to the CPU to be decoded and executed. There are many different form factors or motherboard sizes that come into play whenever you think about computer cases and motherboards. These are Mini ATX, Micro ATX, ATX and eATX. You need to make sure these fit the computer case, otherwise it'll be a bit useless and you need to get another computer case to fit all these items in. Now for the processor, aka the CPU that I talked about earlier. The CPU is the brain of the computer, much like the motherboard is the heart. This is because it is sent commands to be decoded. It fetches the commands, it decodes the commands, and then it executes them, and then sends them to the components which then execute the commands. The main producers of CPUs are Intel and AMD. However, Intel is more popular than AMD for computer gaming and other things, as it is a more widely known producer of CPUs. Now for the BIOS. The BIOS is what you use when you want to get a new operating system onto your computer. You'll have a CD that will hold your new operating system, whether you want to upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10. You'll put the CD into the CD-ROM, which then, when you start the computer, you'll press F6 or F3, which will then send you to the BIOS menu. You will then go up to boot up options and then click the CD-ROM that has the CD in with your new operating system. It will then show you instructions on how to do it, but be warned, this will delete all your data that is on the hard drive, so make sure you have backed it up onto a different hard drive before you complete this process. Now for the power supply. The power supply, or PSU, is the lungs of the computer as it gets power and sends them to the motherboard, which then sends it to each different component to let the computer run. If it has no power at all, the computer will not turn on and will be useless. Most power supplies are built for the fit of ATX motherboards and cases. The power supply converts AC voltage power into DC power, which will then be used to power the different components in the computer. Now for the fan and heatsink. No, not that. That. The fan and heatsink are both used to cool down the CPU and the ROM. If the CPU and ROM aren't cooled down properly, the computer will shut down automatically to avoid damage done to the computer, so that you can fix the problem, then boot up the computer without having to pay for parts to replace the broken parts that have been destroyed. You do have to make sure the fan and heatsink are also able to fit inside the motherboard and the case, otherwise they will be useless as they will not fit and you'll have to buy a new one. So you have to make sure you get the right case and the right heatsink and fan to be able to do it. Now then, hard drives. Hard drives are what are used by the computer to store data and programs inside so that you can use them when the computer turns on. It can also be used as memory or RAM, extended RAM, but is very inefficient and will slow down the computer greatly. There are primary hard drives and secondary hard drives. The primary, or master, is the main source of storage, and then the secondary, also known as the slave hard drive, is then used to back up everything in case the primary hard drive fails. IDE was used to connect the hard drives to the computers, but it was quickly taken over by EIDE. Now let's talk ports. No, not that last one. The main ports and connectors are parallel and serial. Parallel is a port that allows data to come in simultaneously from different other ports. However, a serial port only allows data to come in one at a time, so it avoids backchat or a crashing of the server. There is also USB ports that are mainly used by mouse, keyboards and speakers in some cases. Now I'm going to talk about RAM, ROM and cache, so sit back and get relaxed because this is one of the longest ones I'm going to do. RAM, or random access memory, is what's used to let your computer run certain programs like Photoshop. So if you have a 2GB RAM, you will struggle to run Photoshop as it takes up a lot of RAM or processing power. ROM is read-only memory and is what is used to store boot-up commands, so when your computer starts at the beginning, it finds the ROM and uses that to turn the computer on and find the right operating system for you to use. If you don't have ROM, your computer will not turn on as it needs it to boot up. Cache is temporary storage, so if you open Chrome when you first turn on your computer, it will run slowly, but if you exit Chrome and then a while later, say an hour or so, you load up Chrome again, it will come up faster because cache stores some of the data from Chrome so you can open it faster when needed. Graphics cards are what is used by the computer to let the monitor run smoothly. There are different graphics cards that can be used. There are low power and high power. The high power ones are mainly used for computer gaming, so games such as these. It also allows you to run applications such as Photoshop easier, as that is a photo editing software, so you need good graphics to be able to see what you're editing. Now then, input devices. These are devices such as keyboards, mice and microphones. They are what you use to send commands to the computer, which is then sent to the CPU, which is then sent to the output, in this case the monitor, to show what you've done. Say if you type a letter on the keyboard, it'll show on the monitor, on a Word document or whatever you're using, what you've typed instead of the binary digit. Output devices are things like monitors, printers and speakers and headsets. They are used to output what the inputs have sent in to show you as a GUI or as a command line interface what is being done with the computer with the inputs. Now for backing storage. You can generally use any type of storage for backup storage, as many companies use things such as hard drives or USBs, memory sticks, to hold data. They're what used to back up a network just in case it goes down, as many companies do this. I would personally recommend a USB for this job, as it is small but can hold a lot of information and data, up to about 126 gigabytes I've seen so far. So I personally use that because they're small, you can put them in a drawer or a safe and have many of them at the same time. Now for the second to last item, which is data transmission. There are many things involved with data transmission. Some of these are simplex, duplex and half duplex. Simplex allows data to travel one way. Duplex, however, allows data to travel in both directions at the same time. And half duplex lets you send data at the same time, but not like continuously, goes one then the other. Now for the relationships between computers. This can involve input, CPU, output and then storage. For example, if a mouse is used, the cursor will need to be moved on the output. So the input device, which is the mouse, will send a command to the CPU to be processed and then executed via the output to show on the monitor that the cursor is moved. The storage is then used for later use if you want to do that command again to make it easier and quicker. So then we've talked about almost every component in the computer, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of video. Remember to subscribe for more videos like this, and see you later.